Can't hear you. You coming by me now? You coming by me now? Huh?
Okay. We're live. Let me get you back in. No, you should be in. What happened here?
Ouch.
Hold on, guys. I'm so sorry.
Technical difficulties.
There you go.
Hi.
The other thing you're going to discover is that I am such a fuck up. So, welcome.
Hi.
Hi.
Tracy, how are you?
Guys, this is Monica to the left of you, I think. And this is Shana with the purple hair, if that helps. And Monica and Shana, I have worked with at the Green Man store. So I know them intimately. All right? Intimately. I've never had a fight with Monica, ever. And Monica knows what a troublemaker I was. You know it.
Yeah. Stir the pot a little bit. Yeah, just a little bit. Yeah.
Oh my God, did I stir the pot?
Yeah.
Shana is opposite me. So Shana's an Aquarian, right?
Yep. I have a Leo rising though.
What?
Yes. I'm Leo.
Oh my God.
I have gray hair. I've got the Leo hair still a little bit.
Oh, I had no idea you had a Leo rising. So you're double the fire, ironically, because the way I see Aquarians and Leos is that we are identical.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, but because of that, I feel like they can clash because, Aquarius is that air side and it feeds the fire,
Got it. Got it. So we've had our disagreements, but I don't think we had huge disagreements. I think it was like, Tracy's being a bitch today. And I'm like, and?
Yeah, but we're always still cool at the end of the day.
Always so cool at the end of the day. Now, I watched Shana develop her skills when I was there. So I don't even know how long I was there. I feel like I was there for 6 years, though.
You were there quite a long time.
Yeah.
I don't leave my places. Like, you literally have to kick me out. I don't leave. I don't leave my marriages. Like, if I stay in marriage, it's only because I need to really figure out why I should leave.
Yeah.
And that could take a while. So I'll stay in a relationship an extra 2 years just to observe who you are. And then once I see everything I need to see, I'm like, I'm out. But also, you don't get to revisit. In a relationship, you don't get to revisit me because I've studied you and I'm like, I know you and you can never, no. In relationships. So I have a question for you. Because these are the TeaLeaf readers. And if you guys don't know what a TeaLeaf reader is, they will be happy to explain it to you. But for right now, ladies, and I love your cat, by the way. I love your cat. And you guys know I quasi hate animals, but I love them.
Yeah.
Yes.
You've had this experience with me where I'm like, my dog won't die. He won't die. This went on for 5 years.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it did.
And it's like, do you like animals? I love them, but he won't die. And I was thinking about getting a cat, and realistically, I'm like, Tracy, come on, like, save the cat.
Oh, I thought you meant adopt one. I'm like, yeah, adopt.
But it's like, will the cat be happy?
Get a Siamese cat because then when you yell at it, it will just yell back at you.
I've had a Siamese cat.
Oh, really?
Do you remember? I don't know if you ever saw pictures. My white cat was a Siamese mix.
Oh, I remember you had like this really fluffy white cat. I wasn't sure.
Yes, with the pretty blue eyes. It was a Siamese mix.
Oh, okay. See, yeah. All right. Fine.
And totally responded like it was a human. I was like, oh, this is a weird relationship. But in any case, you have bones. Bones died. But
Yeah.
Cash died
Aw.
February of last year.
Aw.
And so when she died, I had to bring my sister, take the dog and the sister to the vet because there's no way I can explain to my special needs sister that the dog died, how the dog died, like she needed to be there.
Oh,
Right.
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And as we're driving, we're almost there when she says, "Can we get some flowers?" Because in her mind, she's having a funeral.
Oh,
Oh.
that's so
Oh
sweet.
no, it was a nightmare. It was the worst experience ever. You try doing that with special needs, very expressive. She's exactly like me, but she got diagnosed.
Yeah.
And so then I figured, okay, this is hell. I'm thinking the whole time. I'm like, God, I'm confident at this point you really hate me. And so I went to a beauty supply store and I got a sunflower headband
Okay. All right.
and put sunflower headbands around the dog. So we got all these pictures of that.
Oh, wow.
Meanwhile, Tony is in the doctor's office, belligerent. Ah! And I was like, is it gonna hurt? And I was like, I don't have these answers.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like realistically, who knows?
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know. And so finally it was time to bring the dog in. And the poor doctor was like, can we leave her out there? And I said, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. She will come in and she will handle this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She needed to see it.
It was the funeral. I wasn't going to take that from her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was just before the COVID, just before we were on lockdown.
Wow.
Yeah.
So who knows with God? God is a funny God, and God's like, listen, you got to walk that dog, be around people that's not going to put their mask on right away because we didn't have these rules in the beginning.
Right.
Yeah.
So who knows with God? You know, I accept everything the way it is. But let's get back to you guys, as I always talk about myself. Who are you? Who are you both? If you had to describe yourself.
Okay, me. Well, I'm definitely a practicing witch, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I'm a high priestess in the Strega tradition.
What is Strega? What is Strega? I know what this is. So
Yeah.
forgive me if I interrupt you.
Oh,
These
sure.
people that follow me, they only know one type of psychic.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's the Italian path of witchcraft, very folk orientated path. You know, old remedies, old spells, old herbal stuff going on with that.
Lots of olive oil.
From your
Lots of
grandmother, right?
Well,
Passed down from grandma and beyond.
I'm a mutt. I mean, I'm totally a mutt. I have a little Italian, a little French, a little Irish, a little Scottish, a little what else? do I have? French. I'm a mutt, but I'm not sure if it's in my heritage with my grandparents. They didn't speak English. It was a hard, communication thing. My grandmother spoke French. Grandpa spoke Italian, a little bit of English. So I don't know if it's in the bloodline, but it's the path that I was taught and I practice.
Who taught you, Monica?
I had a great teacher back in New Jersey called Vinny Gaglione. He's a very good friend of mine. I had a lot of teachers, though. I had a lot of teachers with the psychic stuff. He was more witchcraft, and then I had, not so much the psychic stuff, but I had other teachers. I had a great teacher called Bobby John. She was excellent from back east, and I studied the psychic stuff with her, and that's where I picked up the tea leaves. And I took a whole bunch of courses from her. I took the crystal ball, the numerology, past lives, spirit guides, tea leaves, and that's the one that stuck like glue.
I respect that. I respect that. It's funny when you enter this world, everyone thinks like tarot is the end all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you study a little bit of everything, crystals, I think, brings you in. Crystals are like, oh my God, what is this?
Yeah.
Amethyst really draws you into the world. But when you really go into different types of divination, all of a sudden it's like, this is what I love. I love this.
And it's funny because I studied tarot. I studied different forms. I studied, but I mean, it just didn't connect with me. This is what connected and stuck. And if it wasn't for Vinny one day telling me, what are you doing tomorrow morning? Nothing. Okay, be at the Masonic Temple at 9:00. For what? Because you're going to do readings for a psychic fair. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. No, you're not. No, I'm not. And this went back and forth until he said, be there at 9:00. So, like a good little girl, I showed up at 9:00, and I was the first one there and the last one to leave. All the other psychics were gone. I was still reading, and he was like, see, I told you. And if it wasn't for him, I probably would have never walked down this path, to be honest with you.
I think some of our teachers can see that in us.
Yeah.
Right. And then it's like, wait, what? And it's like, yeah, this is what you're gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
Have you or Shana ever thought about, like, I'm a big fan of leaving your gift behind, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever thought about teaching TeaLeaf?
To my family, you mean, or to other people?
Okay, now we're in a Zoom world.
Yeah.
So I'm talking about the world.
I do teach the TeaLeafs when I do my scrying series, which I'm actually in the middle of right now. And next week, funny that you should ask that, that's the day that I'll be teaching, the introduction to the tea leaves and how to read the tea leaves next week. That's going to be on my agenda. So, yeah.
So can people just come in the middle of this class, or is this part of a whole series?
It is a series, but I do different things every week.
Got it.
Yeah, so you can join in the middle of it. It's fine. Yeah.
Join in the middle of it means the Green Man store?
Yeah, it's through the Green Man store. It's the Scrying Divination series, yeah.
Scrying and Divination series. If you want an introduction to Monica's TeaLeaf class,
right.
Call 818-985-2010 and sign up to Monica's TeaLeaf Introduction to TeaLeaf class.
Yeah. Right, it's under the Scrying and Divination class.
Oh, sorry, under Scrying and Divination.
Right, exactly.
Series.
So I do teach it, and actually one of my coven sisters really hooked onto it too, and she now can do some tea leaf readings, which is really cool.
Right.
Yeah, so that's kind of nice to see that.
The coven sister?
The coven sister. Yes.
What does the coven sister mean?
She's just very, I don't know, she's very, very studious. She takes all these classes. She just wants to get knowledge. And
every time we talk about a coven sister, we realize it's always her. Even though we have other coven sisters, it always ends up being her. So she became the coven sister.
That's funny.
Like unofficial name.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that though. There must be something very special about her.
She needs one. She needs a name.
She said
tag.
she's going to get a name badge that says the coven sister on it because she loves the title.
I love it.
Yeah. So I've been doing readings with the tea for, God, I would say 28 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a gift.
Yeah, it's all part of the scrying situation, being able to see as well. That's a big part of it.
Yes. I understand scrying a little better. It's not my gift. But sometimes I get these angelic markings on my wall from the sun.
There you go.
I never know what they mean. So I take a picture and I have a text group I belong to. And I was like, guys, one day something came on my wall that said AG. I could see that clearly.
Wow.
I went to the local McDonald's and literally they had a poster up that said AG.
Oh my God. What was it about though?
It was right around the time that the AG bar was being terminated.
Oh.
Okay.
And I'm all into Trump politics. And so this hadn't been known yet. It's
getting the hit.
Yeah, at the final hour, I didn't expect anybody to get fired. Like none of that made sense. And then they showed me AG. And then I went to McDonald's and it said AG. I have pictures of it. I'll send it to you. And then bar came through. Now, I didn't recognize it because it was bar. I didn't recognize Attorney General, AG Barr.
Okay, yeah.
And that's where, like, I don't understand scrying. I'm like, okay, this is weird.
Yeah, sometimes signs are so vague though. Like you see it
Yes.
and you're like, okay, like what does that mean? I see it and
Yeah,
Work with me better.
yeah, because like you can tell sometimes when like the universe or your spirit guides, like someone's trying to give you a hint about something, and maybe like you'll see repeating numbers or you keep seeing the same kind of color, something, right? And you start to notice the pattern, and you're like, okay, I know you're trying to tell me something, and I have no idea what it is.
Yeah.
You know, and you're like, what? So then that's when it starts getting kind of tricky sometimes. Like if I kept seeing AG, that would have gone right over my head.
Exactly. I did take a picture of it though, right? Because I wanted people to say, do you see what I see? Like, is it AG to you? But years ago, when the gift was absolutely new to me and I was going back and forth, a lot of times people like us tend to move around a lot. I get it now. I get that if we don't move around, we don't get to touch all of these people. That's what I understood later. And so I was forced back into New York. And I said, okay, God, okay, you forced me back to New York. I hate my family. What am I doing here? And I was like, you know what? There's something here for me. I'm going to be disciplined. And I said, but God, when it's time for me to go, don't send me a bird. Don't send me a fluttering butterfly. You make it obvious because I want to go. At the time, my son had a Coogan account. And it was just around, I guess, 2008. And all the banks were failing. Some weird shit that was happening.
All that crash.
All that crap. And Bank of America had never been in New York. And so because of all these changes, they opened up a bank in New York. When they did that, they opened up the Coogan accounts.
Okay.
At 3:00 in the morning, Spirit said, and I don't know that I'm talking to Spirit because it's all like, what, like, who are you? And it's like, Spirit says, call the bank. Well, I know the number by heart. So I called the bank and you put in this code, and I put in a code, and they said, oh, your money is available.
Wow.
And I was on the cell phone and I was like, pass the fuck out. When I woke up the next day, the first thing that I remembered, call the bank again. All your monies is available.
Wow.
And so I went to the bank because in New York, they didn't understand Coogan accounts and their policies because it was new.
I see.
So they opened up these branches, but didn't tell people that Coogan accounts are blocked. So the tellers didn't know. And so I went, and you know, you go in like you're about to rob a bank. I promise you. You go in and you're like, back in the day, you had to write the withdrawal amount, right? Yeah. And so I was like, completely obvious. I'm slipping a note that says I'm going to rob you, right? The look on my face was, and she gave me money. And I walked out of the bank and I started crying because I knew God was letting me leave New York. Yeah. And so I went back to my son and I said, listen, you got 2 years and you have all of this money. If I'm forced to stay in New York, I'm fine. But you will have this money when you're 18. Or we could move right now. And of course, my son, who I made him make the decision, best decision ever, who knew, but not without him not talking to me for 5 years. Like, it's really funny how a good decision can really turn bad to turn good. Like, it's so weird what life, puts you through. But he said, let's go back. We were gone in 2 weeks.
Wow.
You're done.
Gone. Already bought the tickets because I was afraid that the bank was going to close it down again. Do you know they never closed that account down?
Wow.
How bizarre.
Isn't that God, though?
Yeah.
That's spirit.
It is.
For sure.
Because I said to him, Like, I know you like to give little symbols like a butterfly or like I was like, no, you've got to tell me to my face.
Make it clear.
Make it clear. And you also have to ask to make it clear.
Yes. And don't be afraid to ask. That's the other thing. I think a
Tell
lot of
them.
people, yeah, they're afraid to ask for clarity. I will totally ask. I'll be like, you need to be more clear because I don't know what you're trying to say. There's nothing wrong with asking the universe to be more specific or more clear. Because what's the worst that's going to happen? You don't get a sign, no big deal. But ask, because you're probably going to get it. Ask and you shall receive.
Yeah.
You know, what's big with my readings is the animals that come in. Most 99% of the time when I'm reading, animals come in, and animals have messages for us. And that quickly, I mean, in the beginning of my TeaLeaf career, that wasn't apparent. And then all of a sudden, all of these animals started coming in, and I was like, what the hell is this? And then I met a very amazing teacher, Ted Andrews. And,
you met Ted Andrews? Why do I know Ted Andrews?
He's an author of many, many metaphysical books.
Are you serious? You met him?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I met him very well.
I know his name. Yeah.
So I was at a lecture at the store with Vinny, who owned in New Jersey, and I asked
what part
him.
of New Jersey?
Bloomfield, in New Jersey.
What? I came out of Montclair. What?
Oh my God, you're right next door. You got to be kidding.
Oh my God! I think it's funny how like all of us might have to cross similar paths.
Right. It's so true.
Are you kidding me?
No, that's the store that I walked into, and you were talking about crystals, how that opens up the kind of attracts you into the world.
Yeah.
My friend said to me, we were talking about crystals, and he just said, I found the store. You want to go check out the crystals? I said, let's go. And we walked into the store. I opened the door. I walked in and I said, I'm home. That's what I said. Right?
Oh my God. There's funny. It's when this is your world, it's a long story, but this guy from Atlanta introduced me to a metaphysical tarot store in Red Bank, New Jersey.
Okay.
And it had a bunch of little quirky little stores. There was an angel store. There was this, that, and the third. It was all very organically new agey, the whole community. When I walked into the tarot store, I said, I'm home.
See, that it's something that just is.
It's a wonderful feeling.
It's a wonderful feeling. So that's how I met you. And anyway, he would have famous authors come and do lectures and stuff like that. So I met quite a few famous authors. And I talked to Ted about a reoccurring dream that I kept on having. And he said he would send me information on it, which he did. And then he was writing a new book called Animals Speak and Animal Wise.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that book. Why don't I have it here? Usually I know I have Animals Speak somewhere. Yeah. Or maybe from the Green Man store. There's something about this book. Right?
Yes. And so I just started studying what he was writing in the books and transcribing them into the readings. Like, so if I saw a certain animal, I would know what they were the message they were trying to tell my people. So that's how that's been for many, many, many years. It's still happening. That's big part of the reading. So, it's not a coincidence when animals appear to you in interesting situations, like out of the ordinary or constantly. They're trying to nudge you to tell you something, and you should pay attention to what the animals have to say to you, because I'm telling you now, when I do readings, my animals never lie. They never lie. Whatever that stands for, that is what is going on in that person's life. For sure. Yeah. So I
love that.
I've had so many animal experiences, that, and what does this mean? I mean, before I knew this book and before I had so many animal experiences that I just didn't make sense, like a snapper turtle walking into my living room in the middle. I mean, people thought I was crazy. I have a picture to prove it, though. I mean, but I was like, what the fuck does this mean? Well, I mean, what does this mean? It was like, this must mean something. And it wasn't until after I studied with Ted that I found out that turtles represent issues with motherhood. And at that time, I was working 3 jobs, single mom, trying to raise 2 kids on my own. And I was having motherhood issues within myself. Am I being a good enough mom? Am I giving them enough time? So that's exactly what was going on in my life at that time when that turtle walked into my living room.
Well, I'm going to have to call you. Do not read me now, but I'm going to have to call you. When are you back? Tuesday?
Tuesday, yeah.
I'm at war with a squirrel. At war.
Oh, really?
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Okay. Yeah, well, I know exactly what's going on, so.
God, save it for the reading. I don't believe in getting anything free because I want to be in my zone, but I'm at war. And this morning, and then listen, I feed the birds and listen to this. I feed the birds. I got the bird feed in a garbage pail, but it's a plastic garbage pail. I didn't think about getting metal. So the squirrel, which I fed separately, peanuts, but now the neighborhood seems to think my goddamn terrace is the hood.
Yeah.
And so I can't feed none of them fast enough. It started out with 1 squirrel, now it's 4, and they're getting fat. First of all, let's just start there. And so now I'm pissed because I'm like, yo, we're in a COVID. There's not that much money around. Like, what are you doing? And they're being like aggressive.
Wow.
And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to fix you. I'm not feeding you squirrels, right? But the bird cages are hanging. So they jump into I'll send you pictures. They jump into the bird. So now I've got a problem with the birds. I got a problem with the sitting in the bed of the bird cage. Now, and I've been arguing with them every day. I literally open up my terrace door and this is what they do. And I'm like, you and I are not going to have a conversation. I'm not doing this with you. We're not doing animal speak shit. That's what I'm saying to him. We're not doing that shit. Today, I'm really embarrassed to admit this. Today, I go out on my terrace and there is squirrel poop. They're so fucking mad at me now.
Oh my God.
They're like, bitch, you better.
Come up with those nuts.
Huh?
Come up with those nuts. Start passing out.
That's what they're saying to me. And I'm like, yo, what did you all do before me? What did you do? Like, I'm not the feeder. I'm not your mama, birds. But it's... And everybody knows. Everybody on YouTube knows. I've been talking about these girls for months now.
Oh, my God.
Okay, we'll talk about it. Yeah.
We'll talk. We'll talk on Tuesday. I'll call you Tuesday. I'll make the appointment tomorrow for Tuesday.
Okay. Yeah.
So Shana, so wait a second before we go on to you. I do want, because there's a connection between you two that I find odd. So on top of on top of, but it's not odd. Like, I guess it is what it is. It's all energy. And so nothing surprises me. Once I realized the connection, I was like, oh my God, that is so connectable. You've taught dancing for years as well.
Yes.
It's a whole nother world.
It's a whole nother world. I had to be incognito in that world.
Because I remember that.
I had to be, because people don't accept, the craft, the witchcraft, or, they immediately put a stigma on it, like it's negative, that, it's black magic and devil worship and we're eating babies and all this stuff that they're uneducated on. So I had to keep it incognito. And that career kind of came to an abrupt close a couple of years ago when the studio I was working for closed down.
I remember. Were you working at Debbie's Reynolds, or where were you working at?
It was called the Red Chair School.
The Red Chair School.
What it was called?
Because it was a red school?
No, I don't know why they named it that. That didn't make sense to me. But RC Dance Center, they changed the name to. And they abruptly closed 2 years ago, and I was devastated because that was my life since I was.
How did they just close? Because I remember you went on concerts, you were there every Saturday.
Yes. They had to move out of where they were, and they just couldn't find a space to accommodate them, and they were done. I guess they were done. So, but I wasn't done. Unfortunately, I felt like I wasn't done with that, but I'm done. I'm done now. So, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So as devastating as it
Interesting.
was. Yeah. But thank
I mean,
God for psychic work, because otherwise I don't know where I'd be. You
It
know.
let you dedicate a little bit more time to that, though.
Yes, yes, totally.
I was gonna say, sometimes it takes a minute to find your footing again when something feels like it was tragic, because that was also a love. And
Yes, it
so
was.
sometimes you've got to mourn for 6 months to a year. There's no time frame when you lose something,
Right.
only to find yourself diving more into your psychic work. And even with COVID here, COVID is telling us to calm down, mourn, your life has changed, only to pick it back up differently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Adapt.
Adapt, which is how I discovered StreamYard,
Mm.
which is
I've
to
never
me,
heard of this platform before
No.
until you told me about it. This is really cool.
isn't this cool?
Yeah.
It's so clear, it's so bright, and you can get, I think they said like up to 10 people,
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's
and
cool.
it has less electrical issues than
Zoom.
Zoom.
That's
Mm.
good to know.
There's
That's
something about there. They tell you. I'll send you a video on StreamYard so you can see like how they do their stuff. It's on YouTube, but they say don't worry about nothing. We're doing all the hard wiring ourselves. All you got to do is tap in and create a platform
wow. That's good to know.
That's cool. That's really cool.
for
Yeah,
the
this.
future. But you can only get 10 people on.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe that doesn't matter. Maybe what's really more important is that you could have a different format to do your class, especially like, let's say, Shana, you want to continue. By the way, Shana is also a TeaLeaf reader. By the way, let's just start with you. Who are you? Who are you? I know who you are, but who are you? Who do
I
you think you are?
I am very multifaceted. So by day, I am a practicing witch. Well, I'm always a practicing witch. That's a very big part of my life. I'm in Monica's coven. I'm her little straglet,
Mm-hmm.
but
Go a little
little
straggling.
straglet. So
I remember when you entered her coven.
yeah,
And you went in, I remember clearly, don't ask me how I know this stuff, but you went in like a little girl.
yeah,
You were
that's what
like,
I feel like. Yeah, it was
please
just like it
teach
was
me.
so long ago. Like when I look back on like when I first met you guys, because it's been like 7 years, I think now. I've
It's been a
done.
long time.
I think it's actually that's how long I started working there. I at least met Monica before because I took her classes before I started working there, and I feel like
Oh,
I've grown so much and really grown into myself as a human being, grown into my
yes.
like it's crazy to just think about that because I mean it's a long time, but at the same time it's really not, you know.
Also, I think it's interesting to watch someone grow into their womanhood. I mean, you and me, Monica, we came from a different place of growth, and I'm sure somebody was there for you to watch you grow. I didn't have anybody there for me, but it's interesting when you watch someone be like, I'm doing this and I'm doing that, and to be like, I am this. And
Yeah,
it's like, well, look at you. You done came into your womanhood. And I think what's interesting is that when you walk into this spiritual world, be it a witch, be it a Orisha lover, be it tarot card reader, no one gets to take it away.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's yours. You own that shit. You claim that you own it. That's just what it is, you know.
Yeah.
It becomes a really big part of you in whatever way that it's supposed to in this life, whatever way you allow it to, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I do tarot readings. I actually have a really funny story about how I learned tea leaf readings and scrying. I took
Yes.
Monica's class, and I kind of knew who Monica was, and I really liked her, and I wanted her to like me. You know, like I really wanted to get on her good side. And so I was taking this scrying class, and she was having us scry candle wax to see images in candle wax. And
Yeah.
she was like, "Oh, don't you see this face? Look, eye, nose, mouth. I didn't see anything, Tracy. I just saw a blob of candle wax. I didn't see shit. I didn't see shit." And I was like, "Yeah, of course I see it." And I bullshitted my way through that entire class. And then a couple months later, what was weird though, I was walking down the street and it was like everything she had talked about in that scrying class, it like clicked. And I saw like the form of a goddess in the tree trunk, woman shape, and she's got her hands above her head, the goddess form. There
Yes.
was this tree on the sidewalk, and I was like, it's the goddess. Like, there was no mistaking what it was. So I took a picture of it, and I don't think I had Monica's phone number at the time, so I ran my ass to Green Man to show her.
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, that's what it is. I was like, no, you don't understand. This was the first time I've ever seen something.
No, you don't understand. I was not in your class. I was physically there, but now I'm here. I'm with you, Monica. Listen to me.
That's what happened. And I burned myself out. She's like, what do you mean you didn't see anything before? I'm like, I lied through your entire class, but I got it now. I understand.
Yeah, I pride myself in making my students actually be able to scry and see. I'm very persistent, but she lied. So I mean, you know.
I love it. But to be honest with you, I mean, you have the gift of teach, because I took Monica's class, but at the time that I took your class, I think I had taken everything Griffin ever offered. I took Griffin's class for like 2 years, right? Mm-hmm. And at this point, I was like, I need something different. And I took your scrying class. I never really saw scrying until after I took your class. And I still can't scry well, but now I could see.
Yeah.
Which is different. So something was like massaged.
It's like she turned something on a little bit, right?
Turned something on, yes.
It had never happened before I took that class, and it took a minute for it to kick in. It's like she activates something in your mind so that your third eye can start to see that stuff.
Yeah. Which is why I was asking. I know you have the class coming up this Wednesday.
Yes.
For anybody that cares.
Right.
There's a class coming up this Wednesday at the Green Man store, 818-985-2010. It's called Scrying and Divination, but at this Wednesday's particular class is TeaLeaf reading. However, Monica, I'm really good at business tarot readings. Really, no, call me for business. If you call me for business, I'll tell you exactly what you need to do. Wow. It's just a gift that I have. And you know what? Sometimes I give people a gift, like out loud from spirit, and then I go, fuck, spirit. Fuck, why can't I keep that for myself? And spirit is like, bitch.
Right?
Give it to the person, and you don't worry about you. We got you. And so I'm like, okay, so spirit is telling me to do this, create this, blah, blah, blah. People constantly go, what? That's a beautiful idea. And I'm like, I know. I think they got frozen. Let me see something. Are you guys there? Are you guys enjoying the class so far? Hi, Stephen Fars. Look at you. I think they got frozen. So I'm going to. Oh, it might be on their issue. Their end. Oh, here we go. They're trying to come on, I guess. Let me see something. Let me remove them. Oh, they'll be back on. You know what? Actually, this gives me a chance to go to the bathroom. So let me go to the bathroom. Oh, look how good God is. I'm so cold. Such an odd day today. No, they didn't come back. What in the world? Let me see what happened to them, guys. Are you guys there? Let me know if you're there. Are you there? Are you there? Oops. Okay, you guys are there. I love taking classes, right, Melissa? I know you do. Let me find out where they are. Come back in. They might be having trouble or internet trouble or something. So we'll just wait and see where they're at. Gives me a chance to charge my batteries. Yes. Can we know about squirrels and birds, please? I feed them every day. Do you really? You want my squirrel? Do you want my squirrel? I will give you my squirrel. Shoot. See something? Take my squirrel, please. It's like, I don't know what comedian is like, take my wife, please. Oh, let me see if this changed. Let me see. All right. Oh, there they go. There they go. There they go. It's loading. Okay. Don't worry.
Okay.
We're back.
Don't worry. It's the patience with the internet.
Yes, basically.
Yeah.
So where did we leave off, Shana?
That's what I'm trying to remember. What we were talking. Oh, we were talking about how I lied my way through scrying class.
I love that.
It finally clicked, and now it's like I see things, and you can scry TeaLeaf, which is how you do the TeaLeaf reading. You look for the patterns, but you can scry anything. One of my favorite things to do in the morning is I scry the water droplets and the steam on my shower curtain.
What do you scry?
The water droplets and like the steam on my shower curtain after a shower, and I feel like it tells me like a little bit about how my day's gonna go. Like see different things. The one thing that always weirds me out is I feel like a lot of times, like in the shower, like on the shower curtain, when I'm looking, I'll see faces, and I'm like, what kind of dirty ghost is watching me shower? Get out!
Yeah.
Well, first of all, there's this show. If I could find it, I'll send it over to you. It's a British show, and it's called Ghosts.
Oh,
Ghosts. I think I've heard of it.
I was on my way to Germany, and you get British shows over there. You don't get American shows on Lufthansa, right?
Oh, okay.
And so there's this thing called this show called. It was a whole series, and let me tell you, it was the funniest show ever because absolutely they're in the shower with you.
Yeah, I feel like you get those pervy ghosts, but you know what? I don't blame them because if I was a ghost, I would shower with Jason Momoa. I would slip right into his shower in a heartbeat. No questions asked. I mean, he might have questions. I wouldn't. I know exactly what's going on. So I guess I can't blame him too much, right?
yeah.
No, you can't. What? I'll send this series over to you. I just have to find it. My favorite series ever to explain that the other side isn't all angelic. In fact, the main character of the story, the ghost, she took over her grandmother's estate. The woman died. She didn't even know she had this grandmother. It's in the UK. Her and her boyfriend show up together, and they're like, what? And it's this awful, cold castle kind of place, right? And the ghosts are like, oh, hell no, she is not living here. So they try to kill her. The ghosts tried to kill. It was the funniest show ever. So they succeed in pushing her out the window.
Oh my God.
That sounds like a good
They succeed in pushing her out the window. She bumps her head, and now she can see them.
Oh shit! I like it. I like it.
And
Yeah.
let me tell you, she starts to handle them ghosts. She's like, oh, hell no. Oh my God. If I could find it, by the time, like, I'm sure the second series came about to make it, I'm pretty sure COVID hit. So I don't think there was a second series, but this was a really good show. So when I find it, I'll send it to you.
Yes.
sounds good.
I'd love to see that.
So
I've tangled with ghosts a little bit too. That's like that has been one of my passions. I feel like it's been set aside. I used to be really into the paranormal, and I was at haunted places all the time, trying to like do all that with the ghosts.
I remember that.
It kind of fizzled out for a little bit, but it has been something that over COVID, it's been coming back. I've been getting a lot of phone calls from clients that have ghosts in their house. And it's challenging because it's COVID. I can't go there. I can't physically go to their house to help cleanse their house. So it's turned into this thing where I've had to talk them through it and give them like a routine of house cleansing homework that they got to do to kind of like rid it that way. So I have noticed this increase in paranormal.
Also, if you don't mind me saying, part of all this is one, consultation, and two, giving them things to do. But sometimes I think if you're the one with the power, just do it remotely.
That's what I started to do. And that's what it became. I think that it's really important because some people are more prone to hauntings. You know, you'll tell those people that always seem to live in a haunted house. So I think it's important to kind of teach them things for them to kind of handle it themselves, because you know it's not the last time they're going to run into it. You know, but it has been something I can't wait till we can like safely leave the house, because you know I'm going to run straight to the first haunted house I can find because I'm ready. Yeah. But what kind of took the place of the paranormal stuff in my life was burlesque, and I completely fell in love with it. And it became this thing where my life was this balance of psychic witchiness over here and then burlesque. And it has been like such a driving force. And so I definitely miss the burlesque aspect of it since COVID. You know, there's a lot of virtual shows. I applaud all those shows that are going on virtually, but there's nothing empowering that's like being on a stage. The second you hit the stage, it's like this whole other world.
No, I've seen it. I've been to your best show. And remember, I took the class with that other woman at the time.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, you invited me to that class. I feel like I came with somebody else. I came with somebody. In any case, I get there and I see all of these, what I would consider a little beautiful. I don't know. I can't say they were beautiful. And so when I get there, I'm like, oh, they ain't beautiful. I'm a beat these bitches out, right? And so y'all are walking back and forth, and I'm coming fully dressed, so I had to take layers off, and I see them walking, and everybody's doing this power walk, and I'm like, oh, no, bitch, no. You wait till I get up there. And I had developed so much inside my head that by the time I got there, taking off my clothes, and I was competing in my head, that by the time I got to the floor, I was like, okay, y'all are really good. Y'all beautiful. Y'all good. This is hard work. I didn't even do anything. I literally got a chair, and I think I tried to gyrate a little bit. But before I got up there, in my head, I had did this whole walk. And I was really pissed because I was like, y'all ain't beautiful. I'm beautiful. And I'm older, so I'm always like, I'm going to beat you young bitches out. And in my head, I was doing all of this. And they were walking, and I was walking, trying to change clothes. And I was like, And I got up there, and I was like, so.
You eventually nailed your walk. I remember that because you told me, you're like, this is a lot harder than it looks. But after a walk, there's something in that. It's a power walk. You can nail that walk. You can walk around anywhere like that. You're going to feel like this shit. It's going to elevate you. You're going to get those, like, you're going to feel, you know, and you nailed your walk. I guess I nailed it. Do you still do it when you go to the grocery store? Because that's a perfect place to practice. You got the whole aisle.
Let me tell you something. All them hoes at the grocery store, they move out the way.
Yes. Yes.
I even had one woman go like, excuse you? And I was like, excuse you? Like, I terrorized my neighborhood, my poor neighborhood. Like, I'm just crazy. There's just nutty things going on inside my head. They don't know, but they there's something about me where people go, oh, because I'm nuts. I'm completely nuts. However, I thought it was interesting that it went from taking classes to building a whole repertoire on performance.
I actually produce my own show now. I co-produce it, and it's called Bell Book and Candle, and it's a witchcraft themed burlesque show. And we do it. We were at LSIT, and we were doing it once a month. I think this year we're going to definitely bring some new virtual content. But you know what? It was something I meant to do it. Spirit wants me to do it because I didn't really outright seek it. I was taking classes. And I had a friend that had a bar that had this little stage, and she, was telling me that the bar was suffering. Like, people weren't coming to the bar, they weren't getting drinks, and she was like, I don't know what to do. And I'm like, you need to get more performances in, because then all those people bring their friends. And she's like, great, I'm gonna give you a night. And then here I was, and I had this night, and I had to come up with some way to host a show. And I was like, well, I know a lot of burlesque dancers now, and I know a lot of psychics. So let me stick with what I know. And so the first show was called Tatas and Tarot. And that's exactly, and so it was really, and it did well. I had so many different people come perform, people doing readings. Everyone, you came that night, actually, I think, to the very first show. You were there.
Oh, was that your first show?
It was my very first show.
Oh,
and it happened on accident. It was I just was like, well, what am I supposed to do? And I was like, well, I'll stick with what I know. And so I just started talking to my friends hey, you're good at this. Come do that. Hey, you're good at this. Come do this. And it just blossomed. And I had one of my teachers perform at my birthday show about a year later. And she was I had a dream about something kind of like this. She's like, I like what you're doing with the psychics and this and that. And it was my birthday party. So I was shit-faced. I barely even remember that conversation. I was like, let's talk tomorrow. So the next day she calls me, and we started Bell Book and Candle, and it just kind of just leveled up. So it's, but through it, it's really cool because instead of seeing all these girls on stage or even guys on stage, sometimes we have guys and everything in between. People come up to me and they don't say that they were intimidated. They say, oh my God, that was so inspiring. I want to do that. And that's what I love about it, because
it was very inspiring.
That's what I want to do. That made me happy when people were saying that it inspired them, because I think we're all so uncomfortable with our body. And so for you to want to get up and do burlesque, and let me tell you, I thought it was going to be this terrifying thing. Never in my life could you have told me that taking your clothes off in front of a bunch of strangers would be empowering, but it is.
It is. I believe you.
And I love being able to inspire people, because I want everyone to have that kind of freedom. I want you to have that kind of confidence in your body, that that your energy is formidable with just the flick of a t-shirt or a bra strap. You command attention.
Whew, I love it. And that's the connection between you two.
Dance. Yep.
Dancing.
Yep.
I thought recently I was like, oh my God, there's a connection between these two. How did anyone miss this? So it's just no surprise that all of this is here. But I do want to say to you, Shana, I think that you should still use the COVID to your advantage, because the way I see it, all of this is prep work, right? We're not going to be in here forever. You know that.
Yeah.
But there's prep work. And I would say when all is said and done and we get to walk out of these doors without a mask on and embrace one another again, you should have set up already a whole bunch of shows and a whole bunch of people, and people flying in to be a part of your show, because I think you should be doing Zoom classes on burlesque.
Oh, that's a good idea. You know what? I might have to take you up on that. Are you going to be my first student? We're going to revisit the chair and the walk.
Well, I'm a lot more confident in my home, first of all.
There we go. Good.
And in my community, I'm always telling my people, I'm like, I'm going to twerk. I will not die unless I get the twerk out. Now, if God has a problem with it, we're going to talk about that up there. But before anything happens, I need to twerk that ass. So, yeah, I'll be the first one to sign up.
We do a whole special class. There's these things called assholes, and they're
That's the thing here.
Those are tassels that go on your boobs, but they have the butt version that go on your butt.
What version?
The butt version. And instead of being called tassels, they're called assholes. So not only can you twerk, Tracy, but we can get you to tassel twirl on your butt cheeks.
Let me tell you something. That does not show up on social media. That would be a whole new thing on social media. And let me tell you something else, because I'm really good at business. You make sure you sell those assholes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I think that's, well, you know what? This is what I can promise, especially because Valentine's Day is coming up. Now, Valentine's Day is a little fast, but this is when I get inspired. I will do a chair striptease Zoom class. And we will just use a folding chair. All you need is a folding chair. And we will learn how to do a striptease. I don't know if I'll be able to get this all together and ready before Valentine's Day, because that's close. But I'll get it going, and we'll do a striptease Zoom class. And everyone is going to learn how to work a chair, because poles are really fun. You can see all these beautiful like feather fans, all these crazy props, but that feels so out of reach, right? And that's COVID. We all don't have a bunch of money laying around for that. All you need is a folding chair, and I will get everybody working it. It'll be great.
And folding chairs cost what, $5?
You could use a kitchen chair, can't you?
You could use any chair. It doesn't have to be a folding chair. Just get one that's sturdy.
No.
But you can.
No, I'd have to buy it. I either got this chair.
No,
another swivel chair. I have to get
that wouldn't work.
That would be a really awesome striptease.
Trust me, I'm falling on my ass. I'm falling on my ass on this thing.
Well, you know what? I've fallen off my chair. I've totally fallen off my chair. And one time I was trying to be all sexy for my husband and give him a striptease, and I was real confident. And I fell right off that chair and right onto my face.
Oh, shit.
But that's a good point. I'm going to just look up what chairs cost. You just go to Home Depot and get some damn chair.
Oh, they have them at Target, Home Depot. They're everywhere. They're so easy to get.
Yeah, just get a chair. Okay. I'll just go to Bullseye. Because everybody sells it in bulk, and I don't need 4 chairs. I need 1 chair, people. I was going to say something. Oh, what people don't seem to also realize is that it's very empowering to learn to be sexy when you have a partner to show it to.
Yeah, it is, because you get excited. It's just like anything else. Like you learn a new dance or this new skill. It's like having a new toy you want to show someone. Look what I can do, you know? But it is.
Yes.
It's really like, so I feel like people ask me all the time, like, oh, your husband lets you do this? And first off, you can't let me do anything because I'm psycho. I'm just going to do it. But I am grateful that my husband is very supportive. I actually have this really cute video that someone sent me on stage, and she panned over, and he had come from work, so he came to the show late, and he's standing in the audience with roses waiting for me. So I got myself like a cool dude. But this whole class and this whole experience with burlesque and just the whole journey, it's been for me. It's been for me to come into my womanhood and understand that you're allowed to feel sexy without feeling guilty. Because I think a lot of us have this weird thing where you start to want to feel sexy, or you feel sexy, and it makes you feel guilty for some reason, or like some kind of weird type of way. And so this class has really taught me not to do it. So that was for me. However, having a partner, they get to reap the benefits too.
Yes. But also, there's this thing about sex and guilt, and yet I know people that do a lot of dirty, sexy stuff, behind closed doors. And I think you wouldn't be so raunchy and dirty behind closed doors if you could just be fulfilling and sexy in front of everybody.
Yeah. Give yourself that permission. Because honestly, I really feel like the people that kind of slam on different people for feeling sexy are the ones that are just upset because they don't know how to feel sexy. So, if you're feeling yourself and you feel really good in what you're wearing or whatever it is and you're feeling it, rock it. And if someone has something to say, just feel bad for them that they don't know how to feel themselves, because that's really what it is. It's people judge and it's insecurities.
But I also think that somehow or another, it like dancing comes into our world, right?
Yeah, it's magical.
I've never not found a confident dancer.
Yeah.
Like if I had a daughter, she would be taking dancing from age 3. I took dancing from age 3. And I understand what dancing produces. It produces confidence.
It does.
And then any form of dance produces confidence. And this morning, ironically, I was listening to Ayana Van Sant on Periscope. I never go to her on Periscope. I do see her on YouTube, but I was just laying in bed. I was up a little too early. She's East Coast, I think, and she's coming on, and she's like, she starts to mention, I don't know what she mentions, but she mentions Gypsy Rose Lee, who was maybe the first publicly known burlesque dancer.
Yeah, I think our modern day equivalent to try and compare to something was like she was the original Dita Von Teese. Because Dita's like the other big one right now, but back in Gypsy Rose Lee's day, like she was the original like badass burlesque dancer.
Dina?
Dita Von Teese, she's a really well-known burlesque dancer and she does tours and stuff. So I feel like, there's famous and then there's like famous within your community,
Yes.
Von Teese is famous. And, I think, I could be wrong, but I think a lot of that comes from the fact that she was married to Marilyn Manson for a minute. And so that kind of shot her into the spotlight. But she's kind of brought burlesque back to the spotlight to people that otherwise would have no interest in it. And Gypsy Rose was the original, like, version of that.
Yes. And I remember being young. I don't know if I was in my 20s or whatever, and watching this Gypsy Rose Lee movie. And I have to tell you, just loving it. Just loving her ability. Her mom pushed her out there. And just loving the ability to be free and to own your sexuality. I was a kid and I was like, that's hot. Not her, but the concept of being a woman is hot.
Yeah. And the channeling it through dance, I think, is an easy way to do it because everyone, it doesn't cost you a damn thing. Dance in your room. All you got to do, like, stroke your arm and just feel it and get used to that. But, magic, dance is magic. And it drops you in this trance. Monica actually teaches magical dance classes once in a while.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
So you've like honed that in to like.
See, again, I didn't know that, Monica, but I just see psychic, divination, dancing. I see it all together.
We have a comment real quick, and I just want to say someone said Josephine Baker too. Josephine Baker is amazing. I love her. She was.
Oh my God. Sexy, amazing. Absolutely. I apologize for not mentioning Josephine. I only mentioned Gypsy Rose Lee because Ayana brought her up this morning, and I was like, that's so weird because I'm about to talk to a burlesque dancer. And I didn't know. What type of dancing do you teach, Monica?
We do, Robert and I do a magical dance class. We've done two or three. We've done 3. And what we do is we pick a song that has meaning, like empowers the person. The first one we did was a song called I'm Free. And we choreograph to it and we break it down and we have all different levels of people in there from beginner to advanced. And the last class was amazing because we had some real dancers in there. And it was like, they were just so phenomenal. We teach them, we warm up a little bit, of course, and then we'll teach choreography. And it was fabulous, actually. People really, really liked it. Had all different ages in there, and it was wonderful. So we should be thinking about doing.
Was that Zoom?
It was Zoom. Yeah.
Keep up with the Zoom because, and always let me know when you have a class, Monica, that involves dancing or TeaLeaf reading. If you have a longer class beyond Wednesday, please let me know. And Shana, you don't have to rush to do something for Valentine's Day because I do know, do you have a week-long class coming up on women empowerment?
I don't have a class on women empowerment specifically coming up. Every February, I teach a love magic class, but I'm totally changing up how I normally teach it. So I'm still teaching love magic, and we're learning all the love spells and everything that you need to do them. And I'm even giving people like a book of spells to practice. But first, I want to talk about like the foundation of it, and we're talking about healing, because you got to heal yourself so that you can find a really good love. So I'm talking about that too, but I found myself in this like rabbit hole of like love mythology the other day. So I'm going to go on this huge rant about like Saint Valentine. So it's going to, I guess, because when we talk about love, it's hard to not talk about healing, and it's hard to not talk about self-love, you know? So there's definitely going to be some empowerment in that class. But I used to always love teaching a striptease class right around Valentine's Day because it was always good to do.
I'm telling you, to honor Josephine Baker, Gypsy Rose Lee, this newest woman that I don't know, but she must be popular in the community, this Dina woman, send me a link about her, just to honor them, right? Because there's a reason why they showed up in our lives. There's a reason why culturally there are people that are in very specific cultures. Like, let's get back to that. You know why? Can we please get back to that? Because one, women are going to rule.
Yeah.
And two, no one tells me to rule like the men rule, because they fucked this world up.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I get to be sexy.
Yeah.
All right. Pussy power. Hello. No, it's everything now.
You're allowed to be both. You know?
Yeah. There has to be a
balance.
balance.
Say it again. Say that. I don't know if anybody heard you.
You're allowed to be sexy and powerful. You are absolutely allowed to be both. Because there's power in being sexy. And let me tell you, when you're powerful, that's some sexy shit right there.
So you confidence.
Confidence. It really is.
Yeah.
Whew, it really is.
I think it's, you know what? Just give yourself permission. Even if you just start like in the comfort of your own home, look yourself in the mirror and say, I'm giving myself permission to be powerful and sexy in this moment. Just give yourself that permission and just see how things change.
And tell yourself you love yourself every day.
Yes.
Every day, empower yourself by looking in the mirror, saying, you know, I love you, you're beautiful, you're amazing, and you're going to go conquer the day.
Mm-hmm.
Every day.
Yeah, like J-Lo, this time last year, she was at the Super Bowl and she did a pole dance, and I was like, yeah, exactly. And and this year she was at the inaugural. Hello, you can do it all.
Yes, you can.
Exactly.
Forgive yourself for wanting to be more of a woman. Forgive yourself when society said, "Don't you dare."
Right.
No, we're women and we're showing out now.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All over the world. Get over it. Come join us.
Yeah. Strength in numbers.
We have glitter here.
Yeah.
What does glitter mean? What do you mean?
Glitter, it's power. Well, first off, because it's women, and I just think like girls, women, we're sparkly. We sparkle. That's what we do. But we have glitter. You want to know why? Because we have fun. Because we're fucking happy.
Yeah, glitter,
you know,
glitter.
The world.
Shiny things. We like to shine. That's for sure.
Yep.
We do like shiny things. That's why we love crystals and stuff, because we're like, oh, it reminds us of an innocent time when we get crystals.
No? You think I'm crazy? Every time I look at a bunch of crystals, I think like if they were candy, what kind of candy would they be or what they would taste like? That's the first thing I always think of. Like,
you want to eat crystals.
If they were edible, I probably would. I feel like they would be really sugary and sweet.
When I was a kid, I used to collect the shiny rocks. Do you guys know those rocks? This was before crystals were prevalent. They would just be in your yard, and you go to pick it up, and it's just the rock just glittered. I would just collect them in front of my front door, and no one like stopped me. No one said stop collecting rocks, and it just mounds and mounds of shiny rocks. They just showed up for me, I guess. I don't know. There was no such thing as a crystal store back in the day.
Right. Yeah.
I had a rock collection, and I just remember I was allowed to keep it in this big like Home Depot bucket or something like that. And I think my parents got really tired of me in this stupid bucket of rocks.
Yeah.
And so it was too heavy for me to carry anymore. They're like, that's it. You're done with your rock collection. It's too heavy. This is where you stop.
I'm over you. Listen, I went to Jerusalem and came back with limestone in my pocket. And the whole time I was thinking, don't stop me. I didn't know if I should put them in a suitcase. And then everybody knew I was carrying these rocks back because I was nuts the whole time in terms of like just being really ditzy. I'm like, oh, look at Jerusalem. And so they knew I was collecting these rocks, and everybody was like, they're not, the suitcase is going to be too heavy. You're going to be charged more. And I panicked. And so I left a lot of big rocks behind, but I still carried a limestone or two with me. And one of my jewelry makers actually made a piece of jewelry out of a smaller piece. But to this day, I kind of collect rocks. And then Ezra, my grandson, he collects rocks. And of course, I'm not going to stop him because I know what that feels like. I wound up in a car accident in just before the COVID in March, right? The car was totaled. And they go to check out the car. And the only thing that the guy said was, why do you have so many rocks in your car? And I was like, oh, if I tell you, it's a long story. You don't need What am I supposed to tell you? I'm a witch. I'm a psychic. By the way, talking about being a witch, which I don't think I've ever admitted to you guys. The only way I could enter this world in Staten Island, New York, I went to the store called something Wizard. I can't even remember the name anymore, but it's still there. And her name was, I believe her name was Adele. Her name was Adele. And she gave classes for 2 years. I took Wicca classes for 2 years.
Really?
She did. And I realized that when she took my Wicca class, I realized that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my God. I revealed myself to
Yes. Yes, you did.
Something I said, and Monica was like, oh.
Yeah.
I learned Wicca, and what most people don't know is that when we do a lot of herbal magic in my group. And at one point I was afraid to teach people because people instinctually can go to the dark side.
Yes.
And so for 2 years, I was very limited at teaching them what they really could do. And then I heard God say one day, it's not your job, not your job. Stop stopping others. You don't know which one out there is going to be really good. So then I gave up the ghost and I really started influencing people in my candle magic. But I also want to say that I would not be as good as I am if I did not learn Wicca.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
People don't understand the witch world is real, real, real.
Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the other thing I try to tell people is invest in something else. Like your world, your blackness, it's not enough. There's a whole world of people that have tons and tons of tools and divination. I don't care if it's a Kuan Yin or a Lakshmi or whatever. Like, sit back and learn something from somebody else. Because
Yeah.
you can only bless yourself when you allow yourself to be free.
Yeah. And knowledge is power, so the more, just take a class, and maybe it's not for you, and you take it and you're like, I wasn't really feeling it. That's fine, because you tried, you expanded yourself that way. But you know what, you probably picked up this tiny little granule of knowledge that's going to speak to you later, and it's okay to mix and match. You got to do what speaks to your spirit.
Yeah.
Even dance class, like I would invite all of you to shake it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that they brought up Josephine Baker, because there's someone in each of our cultures, and my favorite is Bollywood. They're really good at shaking it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they are.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Armenians are really good at shaking it.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone,
you got it. And that's the thing, is because dance, it's a universal language. It's something that's found in every single culture all over the world. you know. And it's not just that, it connects you to your roots, it connects you to your ancestors when you learn that, you know. And maybe you don't really know your biological family, or you don't speak to them, whatever, that's fine, you don't need to, because if you can like just learn those classes, you're still going to connect to your ancestors that way, and you're going to do it in a way that makes you feel empowered and safe, you know? Yeah, absolutely.
You know, it's funny you should say that, because years ago I was watching some dance movements with Africa, right? Which seems now Africa is much closer internally to Black folk, but 10 years ago, 15 years ago, it wasn't. And so I'm watching these movements in Africa, and I'm like, yo, we do those movements now.
Yeah.
So it's funny through dance where it's the DNA always remembers who you are.
Yeah, that's
Yep,
true.
it's true. You remember, it's there, it's in your blood, it's in your spirit. And you know, I think it's also another really fun thing. You could, I think, figure out a lot about your past lives that way. I have a lot of friends in the belly dance community, and it's just spoken to them so deeply, and you see the way they speak about it. There's so much love and passion there. And I'm like, where does this come from? They're like, I don't know. And one of my friends even took off to Morocco, and she's like, and she loved it, and she looks so at peace in all of her pictures, you know. So I think that you can learn about your past lives and dance too, to see what you identify with.
Yeah.
What was
That
your
would
favorite
be interesting.
dance? Like, if you had to pick
Tap.
one. Tap?
I love tap dancing. I'm a frustrated drummer. Yeah, I love it. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Where does tap dance come from?
It comes from two places. It comes from the Irish dance community, and it comes from the street dancers in Harlem.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
They used to do like that for puffing. Yep.
Every Black child had to take tap.
Yeah. If you saw River Dance when it came to Broadway and to like the Pantages Theater,
I love river dancing.
Oh, yeah. They have a scene where 2 or 3 Irish dancer men are like challenging 2 or 3 street dancer tappers, and it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal.
Cool.
Yeah, there's like a dance off.
Wow.
And you see where, you know, the roots of it, where it comes from, and it's amazing. It's really amazing.
Cool.
How interesting. But how interesting is that? Because Africa and anything Black is so far apart.
Yeah, but you could see that.
Or is it? Or is it?
Right? Or is it? Because I guess not. I would have never thought that that's where tap. I don't know where I ever thought it came from. That's really cool, though. I think I like tap even more now.
Well, don't you remember when we were in New Orleans that we passed by those kids and they had soda cans on the bottom of their shoes and they were tapping with them?
Yeah, I've seen tap dancers, and it really is something that is street art and street performance. And so if you go to different cities that have a lot of street performers, you'll see it a lot. I remember even as a kid seeing people just bring out like the big plywood board and like tapping on that, like at Venice Beach Boardwalk.
Yeah. It's fun. It's like a frustrating.
Yeah.
I would go to drum circles and I'd bring my tap shoes and I would tap. Like people were drumming.
That's awesome.
They loved it. Because I was
so
keeping the beat in a different way, not with my hands, but with my feet.
I love that. Yes.
That was phenomenal.
So, listen, we're about to end, but I want to know about your radio show. So tell the world about your radio show, which has taken off.
Yes, it has.
All over the world.
It's really funny because one day I just said to Shana out of my ass, basically, we should start a podcast. And she was like, The next week or two, she had the platform, she had the name. I mean,
she's good for that. Yeah. Like, she'll run away with an idea, right?
Because she brought it up. I'm like, well, that's cool. I mean, we talk all the time. We talk about cool shit. I'm like, all right, I have no idea how to start a podcast. What do I do? So I Googled it and I just kind of like navigated my way through it. And so now we're in our routine. Our show is called Wine, Spirits, and Witches. And every week we just pick a different magical topic to talk about. We give out lots of spells, but there's also like a lot of discussion that we have on anything that either we've noticed a lot of people seem to have questions about, because working with the general public in a capacity for psychic readings and for witchcraft, we kind of see where there's trends or there's misinformation, you know, and we could talk about that.
Yeah.
But we also have a really fun segment called Ask a Strega, where people write in their questions for us or stories that they've had that they want to share. And so we get to do that too.
Yeah. And, you know, actually, Ricky, her husband, sat there one time when we were telling stories to each other. And he's like, this has to go someplace. Remember?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, we have over 65 countries in the world following us
Yeah.
from all over the world. And yeah, we have where
awesome.
from like
I mean, it's been in even just like bizarre places. I'll see if I can put. I mean, we've got like the UK and Australia. Like outside of the US, it's the UK and Australia seem to be our big ones. But even like we've had things in like Malaysia and
crazy
like
places. Yeah,
Costa Rica. We have listeners
like from all over. So like we're really pleased with that.
It's
We're
really cool.
pleased.
And everyone's so like interactive. So I feel like I just have friends everywhere. I flew to Florida not too long ago and I drove back home with one of my friends. But
yeah, I saw you post something about that.
You know, I was scared to do it, but like my husband was like, listen, like you can work literally anywhere in the world. That's what you've learned from this. He's like, you've been cooped up in the house for almost a year. Go. Just go. And so I did. It was a wild adventure and I loved it. But I got to even meet some of the listeners while we did that. I would just put it out there. So it was really cool.
Yeah, our goal is to travel with our show, like go to different states and where people are listening to our show and have like a Q&A or just like do a show from someplace else in the United States. Yeah. And perhaps take it to...
Oh, just do it out of the hotel that you're staying in. They always have some conference room, big or small.
Yeah, exactly. So it's if anybody has questions about magic or witchcraft and you feel very overwhelmed and you feel like it's this big scary topic, you can definitely check it out because we try and make sure that the information that we give you that it's solid information that's easy to understand. But we also know, like as more seasoned witches, that it gets kind of boring always hearing about the basic stuff over and over again. So one of our goals was try and make yeah, like you're like, I already know this. So we try to make something where it's like it doesn't matter what level like of experience you have or how interested or not, you know, how interested you are, like you can listen to it, you'll get information out of it and you'll be entertained. Trust me, we're very, very entertaining. I really wish when my husband edits it that he would like cut some of the bloopers out, but it's not. It is all there, and it's an embarrassing glory for you guys to
Good for him.
Yeah.
That's really smart for him to leave everything in. So it's called Wine and Spirits.
Wine, Spirits, and Witches.
Wine, Spirit, and Witches.
Wine, Spirits, and Witches. What time? What day?
Well, we used to we were really organized for a minute. We've fallen off the bandwagon, but generally things come out Thursdays, every Thursday, and we're on every podcast platform. So we're on, you know, Apple Podcasts, we're on Spotify, SoundCloud, Stitcher. I think we're on iHeartRadio. You know, so you can find us wherever you find your podcasts. And so we have a pretty good catalog. We've been around for a little over a year, so there's plenty to catch up on right now too.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I mean, don't worry about, you know, fading off a little bit. Sometimes that's spirit too, because I have found it only means that you're going to get busy. So when spirit does something like relax, take advantage of it.
Yeah,
right, exactly.
Always.
Because
it's true.
It's true.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, very true.
So you young witches, I love you both. I've always loved you both. All right. I am so blessed that I came to the Green Man store. Did I ever tell you all that story? Because you don't have a bad reputation in the psychic world, period, right? And so, no. In the whole California, I've got the worst reputation ever. I don't even know why, but anywho, I go to meet Griffin, and Griffin goes, "We heard about you, dear." And I said, "Uh-huh." Mm-hmm. And he goes, "One bit of trouble out of you and you're out of here." And I was like, "There's never going to be trouble out of me."
Oh my God.
Wink, wink. I mean, I'm just one of those people. Trouble just follows. You know, it is what it is. I literally I tell my people know this, and they know everything about the Green Man store. I tell everyone I've gotten fired from every company I've ever worked for, and 2 psychic stores, 2 of them, not 1, 2.
You own it. You own it, though. You know, why not?
Right? Seriously.
It is what it is.
Right?
But it's even so much fun to have so many different experiences, and I think that's why I'm even doing this show, because people got to know there's more out there than your everyday lives, and if you just add something else to it, tell your children, get in here, like learn about magic, and not be so scared of it, and embrace other cultures, embrace other religions. I didn't say become, I said go and participate in something different.
Yeah.
I feel like I've been so blessed to walk into a whole pagan store. A whole pagan store.
Yeah. We had some wild times, man. We definitely, there's never a dull moment, right? You know, and that's important. That's what makes life full, though. Like,
oh my God. First of all, we were trying to get a reality show, guys. You have no idea, because there's never a dull moment.
Right.
No, there really
Exactly.
You try being around a whole bunch of psychics and see how it's not comedy. It's all comedy.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
And why no one could see it enough, that was even more comedy. I'm like, what? No, this is comedy, people. Come back here and relook at this. But I also get it. I also get timing is everything. I promise you, I don't think you two would be together the way you are today. There are just things that needed more substance inside. I know for me, I think I would have been egotistically ruined.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that. Like, you know, everything happens for a reason, but I think like who you are now and like with our dynamic, not just our relationship, but like dynamic, I feel like it would be something more appropriate now, you know, because like we've done that growing that you need for it to be done and done well, right?
Yeah.
But I also think that because COVID is showing us all the shows out there that are no longer going to be working, right? So they took out all the hip hop reality shows. Some of the housewives, they're going to start to crumble, those type of shows. And I really think metaphysical shows are going to show up now. So get ready to sell an idea to someone, because like winning.
To me. That was brought up to me last night by somebody else. A reality show, just like random, and about working in a psychic shop.
Yeah.
So that's just
validation.
So yep.
Yeah, let's do it.
Validation.
Let's do it. I'm ready to do it.
Go summon us a producer.
I will.
All right.
Yes.
And make sure your husband is back there producing something too.
Oh yeah. My poor husband, he just gets roped into all the shenanigans.
But he likes it.
He's such a good sport about it. And you know what? He knows a lot about magic now.
Now he's learned. Did he not?
Dude, he gave our Fortuna statue a shot of his favorite whiskey the other night.
Nice.
And the next day, I had to go and be on the phone to like.
I don't think they know about. There are things that you're saying that they don't know. So there's this thing called it's called a fortune statue, but it's called Fortuna.
Yeah, she's a goddess.
I mean, I know this stuff because I work with you guys, but everybody doesn't know. Let me tell you something. Just like I have an Orisha, of course I teach everybody throughout the years, have your altars. Like, it's not against God. So don't get confused, because religion confused us with this image. Don't have, I'm a jealous God. You should have no images. Whatever God said. But God didn't mean it the way you hear it, the way the preacher puts it, right? Yeah. So it's okay to have a statue. I mean, there's a statue of Martin Luther King in Washington, D.C. Like, do you understand how brainwashed we are?
Yeah. So Fortuna is the Roman goddess of fortune and faith. So we have a little altar to her, and she sits on this pile of money, and we give her crystals and all these wonderful things.
Always.
She keeps the money flowing. She keeps the money flowing. And my husband wanted good luck for something that he was doing. So he gave her a shot of his favorite whiskey. And he didn't get good luck with whatever it was he was doing.
And she likes whiskey.
But she gave him something else, though. She gave him something more. I ended up getting this bill that it said was overdue, and I got confused. So I had to call the company and stuff. Turns out we overpaid them over $800, and we're getting a check back.
Nice.
And I was like, thank you, Fortuna. So that's what's up. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
That is so cool. I'm looking on, I want to show everyone an example of what Fortuna looks like. And guys, go ahead and invest. Like, you can believe in us, you cannot believe in us. You know who cares? We don't. We're sharing, and you might want to figure out that we might know something. But this is what Fortuna looks like. I'm trying to find a good one that's cheap, because I'm cheap.
You can find the mini statues on, I think, like Amazon.
Yes, that's her.
I'm on Amazon right now. Yeah. So I don't know how big she is, but that's an example. There's a little one more expensive. I'm sure she might be a little taller. Let me see. I like this one, though. This one is $49. I like anything ivory.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's real pretty. And then this one is really nice. This one has a lot of subtle colors. And you see she has money at the base.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm showing you guys, but I'm actually showing the internet. So I'm not educating you guys by no means. But the other thing I wanted to show, y'all gonna make me get a Fortuna statue now. This is, actually, this is Gaia, and I love Gaia. Look how pretty Gaia is.
Yes, I love that statue. I love that one.
Tracy, you're
right.
Like up with me. I was talking about this last night too. We're like on the same wavelength. I swear, were you with me last night?
You never know,
right?
Well, I think the world is changing, and I think the metaphysical connection is, I think we're blended sisters now. So it's not surprising to me, except that maybe I'm validating some things for you. That wouldn't surprise me at all either. So if I keep saying something, fly with it. That's your message to be like, yo, I'm going to go with that because it came up a second time.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And in the Black community, we have a hard time understanding that statues are okay, although there are a lot of Egyptian figures out there, but we don't know how to gravitate to our own. And so Orishas for me are really, really big. It's all like Yoruba, African, Ifa. And so this is one of my favorites. Oh, wait. Talking about this, did you guys talk something about Padre Pio on Witches and Wine? I think I texted you, Monica, and I said, we're going to talk about this tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, this is YEMAYA, all right? And she's the goddess of the sea, and she's the protector of children. And it's a lot. She was actually very light-skinned. I got her from a Puerto Rican botanica. And so I said to her, because you got to be nice to these people, I was like, listen, you're too light for me. Because she was meant to look Spanish. And I was like, can I please color you brown? I get some shoe polish, and I colored her nice and dark. But this is YEMAYA. And then what was it about Padre Pio? And I told you, I was like, Monica, I text you. Did you see it?
Yeah, I did.
I got 2 pictures of Padre Pio. Mm-hmm. And one of my other pictures I keep on my wall. And guys, this is Catholic. If you don't know who Padre Pio is, get to know him. He has this stigmata on his hands. And something came up last night on your Facebook page.
Yeah, one of our listeners, Tony. So Padre Pio is a really big one in like the Italian folk magic. you'll see a lot of that within stregas and stuff. And so, yeah, usually a lot of Italian households have a picture of Padre Pio hanging out on their altar, or a lot of times in their kitchen.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know too much about him except that he did have.
Let me tell you, I've got 2 pictures, and there's even a place in I was trying to. This is when I was Catholic. I was trying to get to. There's like where he lives, or what did he call it when they have this place where they? It's in America somewhere. It's probably in Philly, something like that. And I was like, I gotta get there. I gotta get there, because I'm all alone in my world. So there's not like I can call my sister and say, hey, let's go visit the shrine of Padre Pio. People would be like, So I don't know how I collected this. There's a picture where he has his hand up, this stigmata hand. He always had it covered. I mean, you know the story, Monica, but I'm telling the others. He always had it covered because I don't think this ever sealed the stigmata. I think it always bled. And so whenever I'm going through something, I keep him in my hallway. I don't know. Should I put him in my kitchen?
I mean, if he's happy in your hallway, he seems happy there.
Yeah, him and Mother Mary's in my hallway. So I'll leave them there. And whenever I'm really upset about something, I'll pass and I'll be like, okay, Padre, what should I do? Because I believe in the power of the symbol. I believe in YEMAYA. I believe in Fortuna. I believe, and I always ask permission, like, God, I always want to do right by you. And yet all of this information is out there. How can any of this be wrong?
Right.
So, all right, guys, you guys were amazing. Thank you for this whole conversation.
Went so
let's repeat. Let's repeat by going backwards. I know that you're having this class on the 3rd through the 6th. I'm still confused.
Who, me or Monica?
Shana?
Me. Okay.
Yes.
On the 6th.
No, first you, because I mentioned Monica's twice.
Okay. Mine is on the 6th and the 13th of February. It's a love magic class. You can take it as a series, or you can take it individually. Yes, love magic with intuitive Shana.
So it's on the 6th and the 13th.
Yes, and they're going to be 2 different classes. So on the 6th, we're going to be talking about like the foundation and everything. On the 13th, we're talking all about love spells.
What I like that you say here is to ethically craft effective spells and magical practices. And guys, I would invite you to embrace the TeaLeaf class with Monica. And is yours also through the Green Man store? Yes, it's also through the Green Man store. 818-985-2010. Shana's IG is Intuitive Shana, and Monica's IG is TeaLeaf Lady.
Yes.
Right.
All right. 818-985-2010. I would invite you all to expand your repertoire. You're all interested anyway, so don't act like you're not interested. And the good part about Zoom, this is the good part about Zoom. Somebody in Kentucky can come in and you could do it out of your bathroom. If you don't want your husband to be like, what are you doing? I'm going to take a long bath, baby.
Yeah.
So.
Yep, exactly. That really is one of the things about it.
Get involved with magic.
Yes.
You're welcome. Thank you both for being so gracious and for understanding why I want you guys on. I feel honored. Like, it's not me, it's not you, it's me, it's you. It's togetherness. And I really feel honored.
Yes.
Thank you.
I love it. And thank you to everybody that tuned in and listened to us.
Yes,
Thank you guys.
absolutely. Yeah.
What you say?
Thank you to everyone that tuned in and listened too. Thank everybody. Yeah. Thank you guys.
Yes. I usually leave some comments up, but Lottie Martin says, feels the spiritual energy here. Oh yeah, you feel it, lady. You feel it. I love the sea. Oh, do you love the sea? YEMAYA. Let me just look at some of the other comments. Oh, Misha, I love you. She says, make sure you hit the like button. Thank you, Misha. I like to look at pictures visually to focus my mind. Lottie, please join any of these classes. She looks like she's one of those that would be very, very interested. Can we hear something about the tea leaf reading? Oh, Russell, you must have came late. We started with Monica. Monica, just give us another synopsis of what tea leaf reading actually is again. I'm
It's
pretty
just
sure Russell's daughter came late.
to foretell the future, and it's the way that the leaves arrange in the cup after you drink the tea, and then there's a method to reading them. That's how that works. So if you're interested,
And you say you pick up on a lot of animal.
oh yeah, and that's in my
inflection.
I don't know if that happens in everyone's, but in my world, that's what happens to me. So yeah, so that's the way I read. So
And to get readings from these two ladies, Monica strictly does tea leaf, and Shana does tea leaf and psychic. And to get a reading from them, get it out of the Green Man store in North Hollywood, California, 818. Let me just post it. Hold on. 818-985-2010.
right.
The Green Man store. But it post up there live. There you go.
Yes.
All right.
Awesome. Thank you so
get your tea leaf reading. Monica, I'm calling you Tuesday before everybody else.
Okay. Okay. You got
And
it.
we're going to talk about these squirrels that are harassing me. They're
I will
harassing me.
I'll tell you all about it on Tuesday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.